Hey everyone, Jim Benson here from Personal Kanban and the Collaboration Equation, talking today about the 5 principles that are from the book, The Collaboration Equation. These are 5 principles for a team being able to collaborate, understand its culture, understand how to continuously improve, to operate in a safe and humane way. And when I first put these in the book, they were just kind of the things that I used to organize my thoughts around each of the stories that I was telling about different groups, from construction or software or healthcare or whatever that were collaborating. But what I found since then is that people have actually been using these as lenses to look into their culture, into their collaborative systems, into their processes, and say, are these humane? Are these collaborative? Are these actually helpful, or are they hurting people? So I thought I'd go over them today because, oddly enough, I found that I was devaluing kind of my own stuff. So we have 5 principles, 5 quick principles. The first principle is to pay attention. So paying attention to the work, to the people around you, how you can help, when you can learn, when things might be going off the rails, just paying attention, having that situational awareness so that you know what's going on. The second principle is the ability to give a damn, to care, to build relationships where you are helping the people around you and they are helping you. If any team is just in it for themselves, or they just want to put themselves in a corner and do their own work, then they are always going to increase the workload that they have. And we'll get into that more in a little bit. Improvement is your job. So like responsibility, right? So you have a responsibility as a professional to improve the work that you do as a professional. That's what being a professional is all about. Did you do something today a little bit better than you did yesterday? And we build systems all the time that stop people from exercising that responsibility. And then when the system stops them, then they stop doing it, which means that you've hired a bunch of people as professionals who then can't be professionals. Not good. Okay, communications. The information drives action. So any person that is working is receiving some information, some trigger for action, some new information to process, something to build. And then they take that information and then they turn it into something else. So the more impediments there are between a person working and the information that they need to work, they will work more slowly. The decisions that they make will end up being less informed, and you'll have more rework, more frustration, and then more meetings to talk about all of those things. And then lastly is trust but visualize. So we respect other people when we know that we can count on those other people. And if no one that we're working with can see the work or actually understands what we're supposed to do, then everyone is going to drop balls, and then we're all going to lose respect or faith or confidence in each other. So in order to collaborate, in order to get real work done, we have to be able to trust. And the best way to trust is to have the goals visualized, the problems that we're solving visualized, the work that we're doing visualized, and to have people use those visualizations in detail. So let's talk really quickly about what these might make up individually. So the first one, situational awareness or paying attention. Okay, so again, when people are better informed, they'll make better decisions. So you'll see this coming up throughout the columns, right? Situational awareness requires that you are aware of your situation. It's not that somebody has given you direction. It's not that a boss told you the thing to do. It's that you as a professional know what you are supposed to do. This is why all dictatorships end up failing, because in the end, everyone is so over-reliant on being told what to do that people end up not doing what needs to be done at a crucial moment. Okay. We want to use annotated roadmaps to drive our narrative. We need to be able to talk in that roadmap about what is happening right now and why. And when we have understanding like this, that is risk reduction. So let's take a quick look at what an annotated roadmap might look like. So this is the completely made up FUFU project roadmap. And so we have a bunch of things that are being done. These parts of the project are being done. They have a timeline. This is where we're at in the timeline. And then these little notes are where we actually decided things. And when we decide those things, the roadmap also has links to our conversations or our documentation of what happened. So that when we go back and look at the roadmap, it's not just like guessing what's coming up. Because every roadmap I've ever seen, every Gantt chart I've ever seen, every Microsoft project chart I've ever seen is like, what are we doing in the future and how close are we getting to our milestones? Not what did we do in the past and how did those impact where we are now? So the problem with that is that it doesn't let us learn. It only lets us guess at the future. So we want annotated roadmaps that actively show where we have made decisions and then documented those decisions, and people have commented on it in whatever way they see fit, right? So that's situational awareness in a nutshell. It could be obviously its own very long video. Giving a damn. Giving a damn. Relationships, we are there at work to work with other people. That's why we're in companies, to be in the company of others. So when we get to work, we need to know who we are working with, how those people react under stress, how overloaded or not overloaded they are right now, what they've got going on in the rest of their lives, so that we can give better direction from them to them. They can give us better direction, and we know when they might need some help. We've got their backs, right? We understand when there's a situation where we need to maybe take up some of their workload. We know that there's a situation when we know something that they don't and we should inform them. We need to give a damn. We need to care about the people. We need to care about the product. We need to care about the customer. We need to care about income. We need to care about all of the things that make our group successful. And that's hard when we're overloaded. Because when you're overloaded, you dive in on the specific tasks that you have on your plate. I got to get these things done. And then you lose track of very important other things. And the next thing you know, you've got a toxic working environment because nobody gives a damn about anything. Okay. Systemic care, again, is risk reduction. All right. Improvement is your job. Responsibility, again, professionalism in a nutshell. You want, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a regular basis, to figure out what your standard work is for that point in time. I'm doing this bit of the project. I need to work in this way to get it done in the most effective, efficient, and responsible way. And responsible is a big word. It's not just I work fast. It's not just I meet the deadline, but it's that I work professionally. I know who I'm collaborating with. I know where the complexities lie in the work that I'm doing. I know what might not work the way I think it's going to. I make extra time for things that might be more complicated or more complex, and I try to involve other people to collaborate on those tasks so that I have another set of eyes, another voice, another perspective on the work that we're doing, right? So we want to normalize expectations through the planning and roadmaps so that we know where we're expecting that complexity to come up. And when we know that we expect complexity to come up in places, we also have greater tolerance for the discovery of new complexity, of new weird things that just happened that we didn't think of before. Which means that we give people a break when they're saying, I tried to do this yesterday and the system just wouldn't let me. If we're all overloaded, we're like, just do the work, dude. But if we understand that weird happens, we're more likely to ask for help. We're more likely to at least raise the flag and say, hey, I'm running a little slow today because I'm struggling with this, or this isn't working, or what have you. There was a blizzard yesterday, and so this was knocked out. I didn't have power. Things happen, right? So the other thing at the end here is that noticeable improvement is a measure of effectiveness, and we rarely use it. We're usually focused on did you meet the arbitrary deadline? Did you make this arbitrary target? But we don't say have we actively improved how we're doing things? Improvement in the work that we're doing, where we create some standard work, then we understand what we're doing, then we understand when there's deviations, and then we can find the improvement to that standard work, that is actually improvement. Screwing around and then figuring out a way that you can be more efficient at screwing around is just still screwing around. So responsibility. So communications, information driving action, right? What I've found over all of the projects I've ever done is that communication frequency is inversely proportional to discomfort. What this means is the more you communicate, the more comfortable you will be. No, this does not mean have a ton of meetings. It means make sure that people are communicated with, that individuals receive the information they need to act with confidence at the earliest possible moment, so that when it comes time to act, they will be able to act, right? So we want to remove the fear of action by making more decisions together. Okay? I have tons of stories about this in the book, but suffice it to say that when you and the people who are expecting product from you are able to meet and discuss major decisions while they're being made, then you don't have to defend them later. And funny enough, people are unwilling to do things that they know they're going to have to defend. So if you have a client and you know that client's going to freak out about the decision that you're about to make, you're more likely actually to just ignore that decision and keep working and keep working towards the deadline so that my boss doesn't find out, I'm not going near that one. That we want to make sure that we have more huddles, we have more retrospectives, we have more Kaizen events, but we also have events where when a decision needs to be made, it is part of our standard work that we get together and make that. So at Modus, when we are working with companies, we invite the companies to our huddles and they make the decisions with us. And then we don't have to defend them, which saves them a meeting and it saves us a meeting. It means that the decision that we make is understood by them. They understand the trade-offs. So here's what happens quite often is you make a decision and it's perfectly sound. It has trade-offs, good and bad. Then you show up and they see the bad and they write off the good because that's a human thing. That's what humans do. And we can call it buy-in, but what it actually is just giving them the respect that they deserve to make that decision with you. It's so easy to make that a thing. Okay, so then real-time information is risk reduction for everyone. It's less risk for you as a worker. It's less risk for the team. It's less risk for the client. Real-time information drives profitable, on-time delivery within expectations of the people who are expecting things. All right, the last one, trust but visualize. This is all about respect. People talk about visual controls. People talk about, Kanbans and whatnot. But what's really happening here is you have an external thing, a Kanban or an A3 or a time series chart or a Gantt chart or something. But you have some visualization that people buy into, and then they remember what you said because that visualization is a coherent story. Okay. That helps people trust. If you just have conversations about things and you leave, then people tend to drift. Some people remember the meeting one way, other people remember it another way, still another, a third way, and then you get together and everybody fights about what you talked about last time. That's not how I remember it. Well, visualizations greatly reduce that's not how I remember it. And if that's not worth something to you, you need to go have a think because it's money. It's like serious money. All right. So we want to visualize our work. We want to visualize triggers for appropriate action. So when these types of events happen, these people react in this way. When these things don't happen or when something weird happens, we react in a different way. So often what happens is we're working along to plan. Something doesn't go according to plan and then it's mayhem. It's Muppets, people running in all directions screaming. Doesn't have to be that way. What could happen is that when you have actual standard work that says when we find something that is weird, that isn't going according to plan, we do X. We have a Zoom meeting with a Miro board, and we get together and we graph out the problem, and then we graph out a solution, and then we go off and we try an experiment with that solution. That's so easy. And it's so cheap compared to waiting forever to solve a problem. As Kent Beck used to say in the olden days, that we wanted to engage in change when the cost of change is low. Now, change is a painful word, but what we want to do is not screw up before the cost of screwing up becomes too high. So don't screw up. You have an opportunity at the beginning to visualize the problem, work it out, and solve it. And that is actually work. That is why we're at work. We're at work to produce the thing and to remove the impediments between us and producing the thing. This is no longer us standing there with a big lever going as the widgets come out of the widget machine. Work now is all about brains, doing brain things. You can't have brains working 14-hour days. You can't have brains not being rested. You can't, oh my God, I could go on forever. We want to visualize work so that we know that the people who are doing the work can make good decisions at the times that they need to, and that they can act in ways that they need to. That way we can visualize everything. The work, the triggers, the pivots, corrections, learning, the whole bit. We can see that story just like a movie, and off we go. Those are the 5 principles in a not very short video. They come from the Collaboration Equation book. Please take a look at it, or please stop by modusinstitute.com. All of our classes are ways to instantiate this kind of thinking. They're practical. They're easy. They're really easy. There's no excuse for us not doing this now. So come on and join us at MI. And join the community, meet the instructors. You will love it. See you there. And respect each other in a responsible way with communication and situational awareness.